G'day, I'm Gavin from Hurley's Fly Fishing. We specialise in guided tours throughout Victoria, but we also take groups to Alaska, Chile, bone fishing Christmas Island, and our most popular one, New Zealand. So if that's where you want to go, come in and see us at our stores in Bentley and Lumsden.
Well, this is not the right flight. Could well be, you see them rise every now and then, and it looks like they're on emerges and that, but it could well just be a nymph under the surface. So I'm just going to put a little unweighted nymph. Yeah, well, there you go. Well, we've had 67,000 casts at this fish, or a number of fish, and I just couldn't get him, and they're rising, and he was ducking around everywhere, and I just couldn't get him to take it, and they'd look at it. Sometimes when they are sipping they're getting something just under the surface, and it might only be a couple of inches, but their mouth comes out. And it can be a little frustrating, but I've just put a little unweighted nymph. He's size 18, and that to that fish anyway would look like a little emerging mayfly about to hatch, probably 100 metres downstream. And that's all it took to get it there. And that's what you've got to do. You've just got to think something a little bit differently. If something's not working, then just change it. He's got a reasonable fish, and he's got a bit of go in him too. So. It's good. In this very shallow water, I mean, there's nothing. They're literally only just covering their backs, and he's got nowhere to go but along. He can't go down or up. Just try and get down to him. You try and keep him on the shorter line as possible. And it's good to get downstream, so we're not spooking all these other fish up there. Look at that. We're playing this fish here, and the fish are just rising there. When the duns come up on the Mataura, they make the most of it. Well, we don't want him to go in those rapids, so if I can obviously turn him around by then, be good. You just got to use that reel properly. When he's not swimming in the opposite direction, you wind and you get as much line as you can. Then when he's ready to go, just take that hand off that reel. No, he's not ready. I just got that power. Good fish. Head first, bang. That's a ripper, just a ripper fish. I mean, completely different to all the others again, and that does look like a leopard. That'll be a lot bigger. And in this water, even though it's not fast, once they use that, they can go a long way. Lie detector. 3 3/4. Not a bad fish. But just to get him to take something a little different that we had to think about is ideal. Terrific. Tiny little size 18 pheasant tail. Did the trick. Now, when you're tying flies, it can be a little daunting with a huge range available. With Black Magic, they do a range of different hooks for specific flies. So if you want to tie a dry fly, there'll be a very light hook so that it enables it to float, or you might have a much bigger fly or even a nymph, so that'll be a heavier gauge so it sinks and hangs onto the big fish. So when you come into the shop, just ask for a little bit of help and we'll put you in the right direction.
Oh, here's one just here. Just need to turn around, matey. There we go. And that was on the nymph, and I couldn't see my dry, and I've thrown it there. But I'll talk about the wink. And I could see it. I knew my fly was around about him, and I could see his mouth open and close, and all you see is a flash of white. And when you strike and there's a fish on the end of it, you feel pretty happy with yourself. But they're terrific fish. I mean, the Mataura's full of fish like this. I mean, you're not going to get your 10 pounders. I mean, last year around about this time we got a 7.5, which was a massive fish for here. But you're not going to get, you know, your 10 pounders and things like that. But you're going to get a lot of really great, fit, strong 3s, 4s and 5s. And on a dry fly, that's why you do it. Just nice short line, good long fish. That head's up out of the water. When you can get the head up, you can get him into the net. And a beautiful fish. He's probably not as thick through the body as some of the other ones are, but still not a bad way to spend the day. 3 1/4. Now we've caught a couple of fish, and our dry fly, which is also one we want them to take, but also an indicator, just gets full of water and stuff like that. So what we use is a desiccant, just in a little tube like that. Give it a quick shake, blow it off, and that takes all the water out, and it'll dry. So when he takes this nymph again, we'll know about it. We've got a couple of fish just rising here, so now we're going to be able to see whether they take the dry or indeed the nymph. Going to get it. Ooh, we couldn't catch up to it. I've just got one just over the side, rising to dries. It should be in. Oh, and he just went the other way. Hang on, might pick it up on the way back. Just drop back a bit. Righto. Should be in line with him. We want to rise. Well, it's all about getting them to take your fly.